some correction officers' paid vacation, the midterm elections, and Black Friday, today on Good Work.
Hello, workers of the world, and welcome to Good Work, a roundtable discussion about the world of working. Working is a major part of our lives, so we should talk about it. I'm James Mastriani.
I'm Matt Newell.
And I'm Jake Lloyd Bacon, and we are comedians, writers, performers, and not journalists. And so don't take anything we say remotely seriously. Is that a good way to start a show about?
Yeah, not one word.
News?
Don't take one word serious.
Unless we say something like, this next statement is serious.
Oh, right.
And then we preface it with a serious.
Right.
Yeah, because save that shit for serious radio.
I see what you did there.
But unless when you say this next thing is serious, it also depends on tone as well. So audience, pick up on our tone, because if there's a slight undercurrent of sarcasm, we're still joking, and you should not be taking us serious.
This is you know what? I'm beginning to come around on what Elon, how he feels about maybe labeling everything as serious and parody.
So serious.
Comedy is legal again. Here we go.
That was an interesting episode last week with Elon, and I got to say, Matt, a couple weeks ago, we talked about like Twitter being important, and I was like, well, no, I feel like it's still necessary, and you were just like, fuck it, blow it up, I don't care, I don't need it. Matt, I think I've come around. I think after
all right, we don't need it.
I think I've come around where I'm just like, what, it does whatever, it's not helping.
It looks like shit now. I think like early, like
does it
Twitter
look different?
10 years ago. It does. At least for mine, it looks
it's a lot
so
less
much more.
It used to be very clean and streamlined.
Wait, do you mean like physical? Like they changed the colors?
Well,
no, I
the
would say
color
like
scheme,
the
but-
way they show the tweets, and all the advertisements now that are there, and like all of this shit. It looks so busy, and cluttered. It looks like the inside of like. It almost looks like a magazine, like a busy magazine. I don't know how to.
It's fun to hear about all the shit that's going on though from the outside.
It is.
Enjoy it, Matt. You deserve it after all of your hard work. Well,
what
we got to get.
I light the fuse.
You lit the fuse. First story comes from the chief. I gotta say, just last week we talked about Power Rangers, and I don't know whether this should be scrutinized or whether these people needed to be added to even more employees of the month. A Rikers correction officer partied in the Dominican Republic and Florida, collecting her full salary during 14 months. She feigned illness and injuries to stay off of the job. This comes from the chief. This person's fiance, who also claimed a debilitating injury from a fall, joined her on the Department of Corrections sick rolls and also on the dance floor a few months later. The fiance logged $140,000 in city pay of New York City, of course, we're talking about New York City Department of Corrections, while nursing a counterfeit affliction over 16 months.
What?
A third corrections officer alleging vertigo and side effects from a COVID vaccine parlayed the DOC's unlimited sick leave policy into more than 18 months, in which he used to pursue a career as a cartoonist, all while drawing $160,000 in salary. So obviously these three people all face federal fraud charges.
Man,
I mean, but their superiors fucking bought it. You know what I mean? Like bought it for a while. Like
that's the victim blaming. If I'm, hey, they asked for it. You hired me. I mean, I'm not. I'm totally for these guys. Like this is.
I knew you would. Be.
Oh,
I knew of all of us.
I'm on their side.
Also, it's a fucking. They were like prison guards, right?
Yeah,
they're corrections officers.
Yeah, it's like.
My dad worked in prisons my whole life. They are awful places to be at. You don't want to fucking be. Work
they were
there.
like pediatricians or social workers, like pretending to be. I'd be like, okay, that's a little dick move. But they're like, they have these awful jobs in this system that shouldn't be there. Fuck yeah, let them go bowling or whatever the fuck.
So go to the Dominican Republic and have like selfies. And they did nothing to hide where they were either. That should be noted.
Yeah, chase your cartoonist dream. Like that's
that is
right.
The best one.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Unless he's like an awful cartoonist, but it doesn't specify either way.
You think it's like dirty, like just like
maybe. Hey, listen, those Playboy cartoons,
like Playboy, remember that?
Yeah, those Playboy cartoons were fantastic.
They
were charged.
They were.
It was just like
I've started this sentence 15 times already. As charged, these New York City correction officers feigned illness and submitted false medical documentation to take sick leave during a staffing crisis, defrauding the city of New York of hundreds of thousands of dollars. The City Department of Investigators Commissioner Jocelyn Strauber said in a statement following the arrests. These corrections officers in no way are a reflection of the hardworking women and men who represent New York's boldest. Stated, since day one, I reaffirm my commitment to hold all staff accountable, especially officers who selfishly abuse a privilege and didn't report to work when their colleagues needed them most. Yeah. I'm kind of going through the story of
they were hosting a prisoner fight and they needed more judges. That's why
at one point during the roughly 14-month absence, video and photographs obtained by investigators show Quaxum and Trinidad, that is the fiance, that's the engaged couple, dancing at a party. About a month later, in January, during a WhatsApp video conversation with family members, a relative told her, Monica, you're living your best life, but you're scamming your job. And the 6-year corrections officer replied, yes, at home, still getting paid, unlimited sick, baby. Get like me, living my best life.
Okay. So, man, there's a huge lesson here, right? Don't leave a fucking paper trail. Like, don't put that somewhere. Don't text that to somebody.
Text it.
Come on. You're going to get on disability, guys. Like, don't write it down anywhere. Keep that shit in your head.
All three face 10 years in jail if convicted of charges of federal program fraud. All three posted bond following their Thursday arraignments.
It says she pulled in more than 80 grand.
Just that one person.
During her absence from her post, which lasted from March 2021 to May 2022. A year and 2 months or whatever. Jeez, that's a lot. I mean she was really stretching you got to do a little bit here and there.
I will
say a chronic injury that recurs, but you got to come back and forth.
Honestly, back to your point, James, of like their superiors are bad at their jobs, right? I talk a lot on the program about my fiance Alexandra, about how her work is very demanding, and her company offers unlimited paid time off, unlimited sick leave, and I always say like that's such a bullshit thing. It's a bullshit that doesn't exist. You can't. There is no such thing as that, because the reality is if she just went, unlimited paid time off, I'm taking 10 months off or however long that one was from.
Right.
Then you're going to get fired.
Yeah, I think but I feel like it's more like if you have something that there's no time limit on it. Like there's no.
Sure.
But
I guess that's kind of the point. What I'm saying is I'd rather know how many. I think that when a company offers unlimited paid time off, it's usually a thing that entices you to work a job that you're never going to take off of, because that's the other thing too. Is when you have unlimited, you don't think, I have days I have my vacation days or my sick days, or whatever. I might as well use those. You just don't do it, so they never take off. And it's all because you assume, like we talk about in the show all the time, like we all just don't want to get fired. That's all we just want. We just don't want to get fired. These people literally just we're like, all right, I'm going to call your bluff on my unlimited paid time off for sick. and the superiors should have, this should not have lasted more than 2 months. I'll even say 2 months because you know what? If you're really injured or you're hurt or you the one guy who said he hurt himself on a fall, recovery time. Check in after 2 months. How's it going? How are you feeling? Maybe.
Well, whose side are you on here?
Oh no.
Jake.
This is what I'm getting.
Whoa.
Is like these people successfully exploited a system that I didn't think was exploitable because these bosses are so bad at their job.
They didn't successfully because we're reading about they're about to go to jail.
Know what? You are correct.
Yeah.
But what
I bet there are ones that are currently successful that there's been no stories about.
What a year it was for them though. What a year.
Oh man.
What a year.
What if this guy like made all these contacts and in prison he's like, "Oh yeah, I work for DC Comics now." Like what if he put in the work, but now he's going to have a cushy job in prison?
That we're going to pay.
He's going to like give like the best tattoos. Like, holy shit, it's the Calvin and Hobbes.
He's gonna be that guy who's so good that like even the racists are like, well, listen, we want you to do our white supremacy tattoos, but he's like a person of color. Like he's just that good that all of the gangs are gonna get their tattoos from him regardless.
Yeah.
By the way, everything I know from prison, I learned from movies from 20 years ago, so I assume that's how it works. Anyways, good on you guys, and also I guess
they should be the employees. If they get out of this, then we'll see.
We'll have to do an update.
Yeah.
By the way, there is photos. I do enjoy the photos that accompany the article in the Chief, which is just like him bowling.
The guy bowling.
Yeah, the guy bowling.
It's really funny.
Great. Who took
really
that
funny.
picture?
And he's like, I think he's in the Dominican Republic, and he's wearing like a shirt that has like the New York City skyline on it, which is even more
That's
like a
so
second.
Funny.
It's a second.
I
layer.
mean, he looks so happy.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for him in that moment. I got some here that I just wanted to talk about, and I think it's interesting, because I feel like I have not heard about this in the mainstream media, the lamestream media, except for newspapers. Newspapers are the only. But like, I went to CNN, I went to Fox News, I went to MSNBC.com. Like, none of them are talking about it, which is really interesting. But right now in the state of California, the biggest academic strike in the history of the United States is underway with 48,000 unionized academic workers, grad students, researchers. They all walked off the job on Monday, November 13th. And it is...
listen, not to derail you, but Monday was the 14th. I just want to go ahead and put that out there.
Oh no! Oh shit!
This article's 21 years old.
I meant the 14th. And so they're looking for better, the same thing that all workers are trying to get, pay and standards and all that sort of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
I mean, around this time of year too, I don't know, like if is this higher education as well, or is this high schools, grade schools? Because higher education has all the deadlines, all that shit that's happening.
This is the UC. Like UCLA, you see San Diego, you see Santa Barbara. Not Berkeley, I don't think. I'm looking at the same thing here.
Yeah, I couldn't. So you guys both apparently subscribe to the LA Times. I could not click the link you provided us, James, because...
Oh, I could click. I don't subscribe, and I could click it.
Oh, it was
same.
It was
I
like...
don't subscribe.
It was like, you must support us.
If he gives you 5 free, I think, a month. You must have been on there a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
The universe, because it says here they want like almost double their base salary, which is only $24,000 right now annually, which is not enough to live in California.
No, not.
I mean, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
especially if they have families.
Some of this shit is crazy. Like, I'm looking at this, like a full-time 40-hour-a-week researcher who works in cancer and biology research makes $35,000 a year, working 40 hours a week, which is crazy to me because I guess when I think of like, we all think of cancer researchers or biology researchers as these like
you went to school, paid a ton of money, you're at the top of your field, you must be so smart, you make a ton.
Like
you must be
like a
making
doctor.
bank.
You think of them as the same as like at the same level as like
absolutely
a Beverly Hills plastic surgeon.
You said you said 34,000 a year, is that what you said?
35,000 a year.
That's less. That's not even $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
Like, which is less than most apartments.
And that's a full-time 40-hour-a-week job.
It says they live on campus. A lot of them live on campus or provide like studios.
Sure, they have to
for housing and stuff. But it's still not.
Like, how do you start a life? How do you it's not. That's not living. That is like
it's rent burdened.
That's no different than like being in the military. Is what that feels like. Except it's that sort of thing where it's like, oh, my whole life is I live on this campus.
But you don't get to learn all those cool tricks and stuff.
Oh,
like
the cool tricks.
Like crawling around and jumping and stuff.
Right, yeah. All those cool tricks that they learn.
That's what they do in the military, right?
Yeah. And then what they do is they go around all different like variety acts. I think they were on America's Got Talent that one year doing all those tricks.
Yeah.
Here's a quick question, because I actually don't know much about the college economy, especially with like public schools, but would a public school system like the University of California, would they be profit driven? Like, because they're owned by the state, right?
I mean, they have to be for survival's sake. It
Sure.
might not necessarily be like the private school doing the best they can.
I mean, you could buy who makes money off those UCLA shirts? Like if someone were to buy one in a random like the airport,
it's supposed to go back into the
school or to the state.
Good question.
That's a great question. If only my fiance was nearby and in earshot, she could probably answer that question. But unfortunately, she is not.
Well, the good thing too that I was also looking is that it seems like a lot of the students are on the side of the strikers. Most of the student body,
right? Sure.
I mean, also, but they're like, taking snow days or whatever the fuck. So they're missing class.
Sure.
Oh yeah, man, I support them all the way. But yeah, it does sound like they generally do. If they need to strike, they need to strike. I feel like it's a human right to be able to pay for your life, said one student. And some of the students said they were even thinking about joining the strike in solidarity, which is great.
That's great. I mean, and that speaks to the younger generation right now who are very labor minded and who are very politically driven. More now than the past 20 years, probably 30 years.
Yeah, young people. I believe that the children are our future.
I thought you might. I thought you might, Matthew.
So
go ahead.
I haven't been speaking for a minute because
I didn't notice.
Because I've been pouting. No, I've been looking.
No, I noticed that.
I've been looking to try to see to answer our question about colleges.
Where the money goes?
Yeah. And Forbes magazine literally has an article called "Where Does the Money Go?" And one thing is, and I haven't gotten the answer yet, but I will say this, which I think is just a number that's astronomical to bring up. The public, just the public college system, not private, pulls in a revenue of $500 billion a year.
That's got to be state.
Fucking crazy.
That's got to go to the state.
It must, right? So private universities like Harvard, Notre Dame, they pull in an additional $250 billion.
This is public nationwide.
Yes,
Or
nationwide.
in California. Okay.
No, nationwide. Yeah.
I was like, UC makes
Right.
$500 billion.
God, they sell a lot of T-shirts.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Does every state have like a state college?
I think so. I mean, there might be a couple of those stragglers in the middle. I'm not sure how Wyoming is doing it, but I feel like
the Dakotas or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like every
Those
state probably
smaller
has
ones.
state colleges. I can't imagine not. But
Interesting.
well,
Well,
listen,
I couldn't find the answer.
I also texted and attempted. Okay, here we go.
Aren't you glad you're a patron of it?
I got a response from Alexandra in the other room. As as far as I know, all public state schools like UCLA receive funding so that any profits they make, such as at a game, have to go to the school, and presumably their profits impact their funding level.
Okay.
So if they're making money, it should be going back into the school. It just means they will receive less money from the state next fiscal year.
But if for some reason they started losing money, then the state will cover it.
Exactly. Or they're going to get money from the state no matter what. It's just going to be a matter of how much. Yeah. Like whether or not they ever turn profit and they get less money from the state and federal, because also federal government also funds state schools as well. So there you go. That's the closest we got to an answer. Like I said at the top, we're not journalists.
That's a great answer.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, thanks, Alexandra.
She was in. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Alexandra.
Take some sick leave. Take an unlimited amount of sick leave.
Take a year. Take a year.
Go bowling.
You've always wanted to be a cartoonist.
Well, I got a little bit of election news here.
Hey, that happened a couple weeks ago.
This is we were going to talk about this last week, but Elon interrupted me.
Yeah.
This is out of the great city of Chicago. This is about Amendment 1. It looks like it did pass. And if you guys don't know what Amendment 1 is, it is the right to collective bargaining. So it's a pro-union law that is now in the Illinois Constitution.
Nice.
A state employees have a fundamental right to organize and bargain collectively through representatives of their own choosing for the purpose of negotiating wages, hours, and working conditions, and to protect their economic welfare and safety at work, and to prohibit any law that interferes with, negates, or diminishes the right of employees to organize and bargain collectively. So that's unions.
Right. I always feel like when it comes to union politics, they seem to generally be bipartisan. I'm always curious to the points percentage. Like, did it pass by a sweeping margin?
No.
See, that's always insane to me. It's always insane to me.
I guess one of the opponents of it said that there was which was the right, said there was a hidden tax in there.
Oh, right. Yeah,
but
of course.
Was,
there's hidden language.
Let's see. It says here, how does the Illinois Constitution compare to other state constitutions on collective bargaining? As of 2022, at least 3 state constitutions, Hawaii, Missouri, and New York, provided a right to collective bargaining. So there's it's not a lot of. Amendment 1 would provide a right to collective bargaining and also preempt a right to work law and other law that interferes with, negates, or diminishes collective bargaining. So it's great news.
That is great. That's great. Yeah, there's a lot of real positive results that came out of our midterms that were surprising. Some, it's like here in California, we had, essentially codifying, the right to choose here in California was the big, fantastic thing that occurred.
I think the other big one was the right to get rid of sheriffs. If they aren't doing their duty.
Incredible
Measure A was the one I was like, oh my God. Yeah.
And by the way, our former sheriff has now been immediately subpoenaed since he was unseated. Thank God he was unseated. They were immediately have subpoenaed him for, all the awful shit he did in the past 6 months and prior. You love to see it. So good job.
It looks like Bass is going to win here.
Yeah.
I hope.
It's so funny to me that, LA has got this stereotype as this real left-wing, left leaning sort of place when we have one of the biggest police forces in the world. We have, basically
with the insane amount of funding, like billion. I mean, it's absurd.
Insane amount.
I mean, the biggest prison all the prisons in California, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, the most prisoners are in LA jails. Yeah, prison population. Our last 2 fucking sheriffs and police chiefs are in prison. This next one is probably going in right after them. It's
people are saying that sometimes people say the wrong names at the Oscar. That's crazy. That's going on too. They said La La Land. It was Moonlight.
Oh
yeah.
What else?
Yeah.
What else is LA crazy about?
And it's like, no, I mean, like, you could argue, well, I guess this isn't really a part of the discussion. It's just funny to me that, like, people view LA that way. And here we are talking about, like, the sheriff of Los Angeles County, one of the most powerful positions.
Or it's just the fact that it was as close as it was and still is, as far as time of this recording. I still don't think it's been officially called for Karen Bass. It's still likely going to end up in some sort of runoff or the fact that there's any shot of this Republican of 6 months ago in Caruso running as a Democrat and coming so close, and also being backed by a ton of the quote left elite that that Fox will tell you. I know, like all of these people who you would think it's not as blue as you think it is. Maybe the state, maybe because of the per capita. We're also the rich 1%. Yeah, we are left, but we're also a bunch of richies out here. I mean,
the largest number of Trump voters. The largest number of Trump voters in the last, the number of people that voted for Trump are from LA County.
Like per county, you mean? Per
capita? In 2020. The actual number, not like per.
Wait, really?
Not percentage.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Like from every city, there were more Trump votes in LA than I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's how many fucking people live here.
Have you seen? I mean, the county is massive.
It's
there's these things they'll like overlay other counties or other cities on top of it.
Yeah,
I mean you can fit I think you can fit Rhode Island in LA County.
Sure.
It's like 5 Manhattans or something.
Right. Yeah. Well, because it's an endless sprawling city. We didn't build up, we built out, and they kept going. No, this is still part of it. Can we draw a line here and make this a new place? No, it's still part of it. Just keep paving. Keep paving. But the midterms were they were a pleasant surprise. I think that the fact that we, as when I say we, I mean the Democrats. I know that not everybody. I know James, you don't necessarily consider yourself a true Democrat, but regardless, we as in people who oppose the ridiculous right at the moment. The fact that we still maintain control of any facet of the government outside, I thought, as everybody did, because of history, that shit always swings in the opposite direction of whoever is in power. So the fact that we still...
There was a red wave coming, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. That
red wave.
That red wave. I think we have there were two kinds of heroes this year. There was our traditional hero.
The sandwich kind.
Oh, no. A hoagie? Like a hoagie? You're still in Chicago? Yeah. Two kinds of heroes. We have our traditional heroes and then our anti-hero. The traditional heroes are like your Superman and your Spider-Man, your Batman and your Wonder Womans, and that was like young people. That was like the Gen Z or millennials or whatever they're saying, like came out in droves and voted. Young people voted in absurd numbers, canceling out almost everybody's vote over 65 this year. So that's our regular heroes, and then the anti-hero is like your Punisher,
the Wolverines,
your Punisher. Yeah, like those are the ones that aren't afraid to kill. That was COVID. Because COVID killed 80% or 80% of all COVID deaths since the vaccination has become readily available were Republicans. Because of
That's crazy.
Republican resistance to vaccines.
I think it's more like Thanos. I don't know.
Better than Thanos because he was 80%.
Wolverine's not COVID.
But
I'm a big Wolverine fan.
All I'm saying is COVID took out a whole lot of voters because
that's
they
crazy though. 80%.
Yeah. And that's since the I could pull it up. I read it this morning. I should have a source here. I just had it, but it was. You know what it was?
It was surprising that.
No, it's not.
What's that?
It's not surprising. I was agreeing with you.
Oh, no. That's not surprising. That aspect of it. I was not the COVID stuff. What I was going to say is what's surprising is how well the Democrats did in the midterms. I mean, ultimately, I guess still lost the House, but I think it's really interesting, and I just think that it feels like we had this moment with Trump and populism where like the right wing like dipped its toe into populism and like kind of like like the libertarians and such and the independents. Like I think we're sick of the neocons, and we had this like little cul-de-sac, and it seems like Trump is being kind of I guess maybe this is a referendum on Trump.
Right. Well, there's a lot of backing away from him now.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of Republicans going, oh.
But my question is that then, like, does that side of things, the capital side, the side that supports, that does it go back to the neocon? What does it look like next if it's not nationalism, which is kind of like Trump's? I feel like populist nationalism. I'm just curious what
I don't think
and
it
I know
changes.
Everybody says DeSantis.
And I think that's the thing. I don't think it changes. I think the only thing that changes is that we swap out Trump for DeSantis, and he has all of the exact same views and all the exact same fake policies and all of the same hate speech and xenophobia and all the rhetoric and fear mongering. The difference is they get to say that he's even keel. He's not reactionary. He's presidential. He's all the things that they couldn't say about Trump. Like nothing really changes. They just pull back the circus show of it all. That's going to be the only thing that changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also, but I do think he doesn't have the charisma of Trump.
Or the
Have you
street
seen
cred.
those white boots? I will have you know that is a man.
I mean, yes, I know that's where you got the idea for your white boots. We know, Jake, but even that I don't
My
think
DeSantis cosplay you're talking about.
Yeah, you got to put your shirt on while we're recording too, man. It's making me uncomfortable.
Sorry, hang on.
Yeah. What? You know what I mean? Like he doesn't feel like he can get it's those rallies or those.
Yeah, it's just
that X factor that. Like he had where
Trump turned politics into sports. Everybody just wanted to tailgate.
Like
they wanted
a pro
to
wrestler.
tailgate.
Like you could be a really good wrestler, but you can't if you don't not good on the mic. That's 50% of it.
100%. And that's the thing is like he turned that small percentage of that extremist far right into just tailgaters who liked wearing the jersey and saying
exactly.
boo.
They're not really into politics.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They're into the show. They're into they like it when he makes fun of people, and they like it when
and
whatever.
Like it's the same reason why somebody like Herschel Walker got any support. It's not because they agree with him or they like him. It's because they see that he pisses us off and that we say this is ridiculous, and they go, "Aha! You guys are stupid. You hate this. I love it now. Go team." It's no different.
100%.
It's no different than like a hockey player on the opposing team. Who is like a really good goalie for the opposing team, and you'll never admit that he's a great goalie because you hate his jersey.
Totally,
like it's fucking arbitrary.
And I think a lot of idealist thinking Democrats they look at that side of things and through an idealist lens they go like, oh, that's because people that are conservative are either like, they're dumb or they're immoral or they're willing to do this, of course they would have Herschel Walker as a candidate because that's,
right.
But I think in reality, the truth of it is that nobody benefits more from a dysfunctional government than the people who run the Republican Party and the people that donate to the Republican Party.
People who buy policy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Dysfunctional government, stalemate government that is stuck in the mud is a victory for that side of like that means that they win. They don't need to move forward in any direction. They just need things to stay the same way that they are right now.
Right.
And that gives them an advantage. It gives them a huge advantage for progress because it just means for our side of things, we have to have policies that actually change, actually introduce
the progress in progressive. We need that word to be present in our opinion.
And what are we progressing to, right? We're progressing to justice, equality, egalitarianism, whatever you want to call it, which means, we have to be functional for that to work. And like even though, so my point, like what this is leading ultimately what I wanted to talk about briefly about the election. It's just that, like, it's short term. It's great that the Democrats were able to like hold on, and I think like it hopefully, who knows, maybe
2 years. It'll allow for 2 more years of anything to get done.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. But we're still dysfunctional, and that still means that everything stays the exact same.
Right.
And it'll be interesting to see. I still think I'm not saying Trump is dead yet, because I think there's going to come a time when Trump is going to
hashtag Trump is dead.
Wait a minute, I thought you weren't on Twitter.
This is how I tweet now. I just yell it.
Trump is not going to be afraid to show the receipts and point out exactly how Ron DeSantis
he
doesn't
already
have the cred.
He already admitted to like election fraud to help get DeSantis elected the first fucking time, whatever. This dude,
he doesn't care.
This is a dude. Care. Yeah, I mean, and you listen, he's a controversial person in pop culture right now. But 2 weeks ago we had Dave Chappelle host SNL, and in his opening monologue, he did say something that was very true, regardless of your opinion of the man, in which the reason why you can't count out Trump is because he's an honest liar. He's the first guy ever in history who came out of the house and said, hey, everything that you think we're doing behind that door, we are definitely doing. And it's all awful and we don't care. And then he went back into the house and said, deal me in. And it's insane that happens. And it's like the best way to explain why Trump is still kind of going to be a factor there, unless we can figure out a way to get him in prison,
which would be so funny.
Well, I've been working on it. I've been working on something, to get him arrested. I put all those documents in his house.
Oh, is that why you took that trip to Florida?
I did that fake recording of him talking about grabbing pussy. That was me. I've been trying to set him up, but nothing
for a
worked.
long time. That was like a really long time ago.
Yeah, I knew something was. Yeah, this is parody. This is not serious.
This episode of Good Work is brought to you in part by The Chief, a New York City-based newspaper focused on municipal government, civil servants, and the important issues affecting New York State and federal employees. Visit thechiefleader.com, where you can subscribe for as little as $2.75 a month.
Hey, my name's Zen Zenith, and if you've ever wanted to hear intimate conversations and performances from amazing musicians such as Tony Thaxton from Motion City Soundtrack, Dressage, or Field Medic, I've got the podcast for you. Check out The House Show with Zen Zenith on Dragon Wagon Radio. The House Show is a concert series wrapped up in the context of a house show in front of a real live audience that we then turn into a podcast for you. You can find it on Dragon Wagon Radio or wherever else good podcasts are found. Check it out and we'll see you there.
All right, welcome back, workers. So we're going to talk about, for the second half here, we're just going to kind of open up the discussion to one of America's greatest days of the year.
It's happening this week.
Yeah, this week. And talking about one of the greatest traditions in American history, one of the greatest days in American history, a day where we gather with other Americans that we love and we stuff ourselves and we overengorge as consumers. I'm not talking about Thanksgiving. I'm talking about Black Friday, everybody. It's here.
The CD I still have left over from the Halloween episode. I don't know why it just kept
turn
playing.
that off.
Black Friday, it's this week, and it's a weird day. We talk about ethical consumerism, and
it's a weird day.
And every year it comes around, I go, is there anything
worse.
is there anything I need? Is there anything I can get? But then I'm also like, oh, give these people a day off. Thanksgiving was yesterday, and they're having to go in Thanksgiving evening to, set up a store to unlock a door at 8 p.m. for some crazy shit.
When I worked at Walmart, I had to do that. I worked Thanksgiving night.
Wow.
It sucked.
How long ago?
Oh, Jesus. 25 years ago.
No, I'm curious. No, I asked sincerely because
I'm telling you sincerely.
Black Friday has changed. Really? You think it was 25 years ago?
Yeah, I was in high school.
You were, okay. So you were a teenager. Mm-hmm. Now, was Black Friday, was Black Friday like the craziness that it would become in the 2000s? It was
big sales, but like, I feel like it was like the early 2000s where I remember my aunts or stuff saying like, we're going to camp out for a fucking TV or whatever. And I'm like, that's insane, dude. Everybody's all, and the people would make a day of it. You finish your food, you're a little drunk, and you go hang out in front of the Best Buy or some shit for all night. Bring your wild turkey.
Right.
But I do, before we get into it, I'm going to give a little bit of a background about the history of Black Friday.
Please do.
How's that sound?
Oh, hell yeah.
So this is from thehistorychannel.com. It's not just a channel, it's a .com. The first recorded use of the term Black Friday was applied not to post-Thanksgiving holiday shopping, but to financial crisis, specifically September 24th, 1869. Two notorious ruthless Wall Street financiers, Jay Gould and Jim Fisk, worked together. Isn't that? Oh, no, that's Wilson Fisk. Worked together to buy up as much as they could of the nation's gold, hoping to drive the price sky high and sell for astonishing profits. On that Friday in September, the conspiracy finally unraveled, sending the stock market into a free fall and bankrupted everyone.
Wow.
From Wall Street barons to farmers. So that was like a little mini crash.
That was the first. When was that?
1869. Never forget that date.
Never forget. Hashtag never forget.
A lot of people say that the term Black Friday comes from shopping related traditions that retailers go into the black.
Right, like they're in the red. They're in the red, which means they've lost money all year, and they need this one
now
day
they're earning a profit
to make profit. Yeah,
that's
how I've always been told.
It's true that the retail companies used to record losses in red and profits in black when doing their accounting. This version of Black Friday's origin is the officially sanctioned, but it's not accurate. It's bullshit. It's fucking propaganda. Okay.
Oh shit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is it propaganda like to make it seem like being a consumer on Black Friday is altruistic in some way? Is like.
Well, I think because
businesses?
the original term wasn't like why it was called Black Friday was not a positive, and they tried to spin the term. They tried to call it Big Friday for a while.
Big Friday,
but in the 50s in Philadelphia, the police used the term to describe the chaos that ensued on the day after Thanksgiving when hordes of suburban shoppers and tourists flooded into the city in advance of the big Army-Navy football game held on that Saturday every year. So the Philly cops would not be able to take the day off, but they would have to also work extra long shifts dealing with the additional crowds and traffic. Shoplifters would also take advantage of the bedlam in stores to make off with merchandise, adding to their headache. So the cops in Philly called it Black Friday.
Oh, so it wasn't. It was a term for like it's a dark day. It's like oh shit.
Yeah.
Also,
and then
it's so funny to imagine in my head a bunch of people getting super excited about an Army versus Navy football game.
It's huge, though. It's a huge rivalry.
Even today, is it?
Oh man, it's like the national. It's like what the country. It's because you don't have to have gone to those schools. You could just be in the Army or in the Navy to root for them too. So they have this built in, and it's also very such a patriotic. Sounding football game. It's like a huge event.
Yeah, we used to
I didn't realize it was.
We would go to West Point when I was young. My mom would take me and like other friends to West Point to go see the Army Navy game, and it was just like, oh yeah, every year you go see the Army Navy football game, and I don't know why we would pick one. We had no family in either Army or Navy. Our brother was a Marine, but it was still a thing you went to.
Well, how about me being smug and wrong at the same time? Look at that.
Oh, wow.
I want to know.
That should be the name of our podcast, Smug and Wrong.
Smug and Wrong.
Smug, Wrong, and Matt Newell.
I want to see the Air Force versus Coast Guard water polo. That's what I want to see.
Oh, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Why would they get the Coast Guard would have an advantage there, my friend?
I mean, no, because the Air Force also has like stuff on the ocean. They have fleets as well.
They do have stuff on the ocean. Our next our next general here,
Admiral Jake.
That's what it says.
Admiral Jake. We got stuff on the ocean, folks.
Isn't that what it says on like the official logo? It says like U.S. Air Force.
Yeah.
We also have stuff on the ocean.
Those commercials is like Army of One,
Right.
Be All That You Could Be, Navy stuff, or Air Force. We got stuff on the ocean. So by the 1961, Black Friday had caught on in Philly to the extent that the city's merchants and boosters tried to unsuccessfully change it to Big Friday.
Okay.
In order to remove the negative connotations.
But still
then
sell
it didn't-
stuff. Like they did that capitalistically.
Yes.
They were like,
I mean,
let's advertise it.
Well, I mean, people were going there anyway because
Right.
I think it was the day after Thanksgiving and right before that game, so they were like
Right.
trying to get their shopping done or whatever.
Right.
But they just wanted to change the name to Big Friday to take away the negative.
Okay.
But still, yeah. But it didn't spread to the rest of the country until much later. However, as recently as 1985, it wasn't in common use. Sometime in the late 80s, however, retailers found a way to reinvent Black Friday and turn it into something that reflected positivity rather than negativity. And the result was the red to black concept that we all are aware of. Isn't that interesting?
That is.
And now
really
there's Cyber
interesting.
Monday.
Right.
There's Small Business Saturday.
Right.
There's all these other things that have stemmed from Black Friday, from
Right.
naming a shopping day.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because it when you hear the reasoning, oh, it's Black Friday. Yeah, they went from the red to the black. You go, yeah, that makes perfect sense. That seems
Totally.
like exactly how it would be named.
And it does make you
say-
feel like it's like the when people are like, I'm contributing to the economy. It like makes you feel like being a consumer is a virtue.
I don't get
Yeah.
that. To me, it feels like, oh, I'm going to wait until the day that it's as cheap as possible so that I can give as little of what I have.
Isn't it crazy though that they could mark it down that much? That if they just marked it down that much all year,
Right. Right.
well,
or even half of that. Make it more
Yeah.
affordable.
yeah,
Cut your per item profit
clearly
margin down.
still make it a profit though.
Right, of course,
Yeah.
or else it's not like
and how low it is.
listen, I'm going to sell you this TV, but listen, Target, we're taking a hit on this TV we're giving you.
Yeah,
I know, yeah.
Right, like
it's
it
also like
doesn't-
I'm
or-
supporting these small businesses, Target and
Let's talk.
fucking Best Buy.
Yeah,
and-
let's talk about the big box business of Black Friday, because the reality is I really like that like Small Business Saturday came about because
Mhm.
as somebody who's worked for small businesses, I used to work in bike shops for a while, and there was nothing we could do to move the needle at all for the general consumer. I'm not talking about people who are like cyclists and bike enthusiasts who know the difference between a Target or Walmart bike and an actual bike shop bike. Like there is a difference in quality. But to the general consumer whose kid needs a bike for Christmas, there's no world where the small shop is going to be able to compete with the advertising monsters that are places like Walmart and places like Target. And so I feel like in recent years, the consumer consciousness that we've talked about has gotten a little bit better, but that just might be our little bubble of progressives who just like, we feel like we want to help the world, when the most of America is like, no, I shop at 2 stores. And this day, those 2 stores I shop at are going to be really, really cheap. So I can get literally everything I want for next to, nothing compared to what it was. Like,
Oh, the people who stand in line are not there to help. They're there to get a fucking deal. They're
for
not
sure,
like
yeah.
They're there to get like a TV for $200, but it's only the first 50 TVs, and then the rest are a little bit cheaper. But so I think it's almost like just getting people there. It's like
Right.
that's half the battle.
Sure. Well, because
Is-
they're going to buy the thing that they came for in the paper. They're going to buy the TV, the camera, the computer, the whatever, the surround sound. But maybe while they're there, they'll snag some Blu-rays, or they'll buy a couple other little things, stocking stuffers, and that shit's not marked down. So like you said, maybe it is just getting them there, Matt.
Getting them in the door.
I do want to, since we're talking about big box stores, I want to actually give credit to a big box store. We never do this. We never give credit to the
You
capitalists.
son of a bitch.
But it's a store that I'm a big fan of. And I can only assume that you guys are big fans of as well, because you're a bunch of dirty coastal elites. REI, the like adventure outdoor store. REI.
Oh, I'm a member.
Same. REI Co-op. For years, they have opted out of Black Friday, and they've actually made a brand out of it called Opt Outside, where they were like, hey, instead of coming and shopping on Black Friday, go on a hike, go leave. Yeah. And as of this year, they have officially made it a permanent paid off holiday for all of their employees.
Nice.
So REI employees do not work on Black Friday. In fact, they get the paid holiday regardless. I don't know what their Thanksgiving. I don't know what their Thanksgiving hours are, but
that's super dope. But isn't it also? Is it a co-op?
Yes, the REI is technically a co-op, but I don't know how that works.
I know how it works. It depends on what kind of what kind.
Yeah, I don't know what kind they are. Yeah.
Right, that's what
I don't know if they're as. I think they're still.
Like it's still a big corporation, you know. Like
yeah.
Got you.
There's
so it's
some
not,
aspects
it's not
of it. It's in the name REI
Right.
Co-op. I don't even know how much it's in the
It's not like a Mondragon thing,
right? Yeah, but
you can also return any shoe, no matter how long you've worn it.
Yeah, that company's fantastic.
A boot, you could just I want to exchange these for another one if you wear them out. Isn't that crazy?
It seems like it's just a bad business model from a capitalism standpoint. But again, here's the thing. These companies are making money hand over foot. They know it. They're not in the red. Like any company that can afford to do this.
REI is making money.
They're making tons of money. We pay for the membership.
Sticks.
Oh, man.
Who's paying for walking sticks? Those sticks they find.
Those like little towels that you put around your neck that keep you cool on a hike. What do you get out of here? What do you kidding me? I have 10
Get
of those.
the fuck out of here, REI, with your bullshit.
They also in September said that they'd across all of their stores delayed the opening of every store by 2 hours on election day to give every employee paid time off. So they still paid their employees for their general opening time, but they didn't have to show up till 2 hours later because they wanted to encourage civic engagement amongst their employees.
It should be a fucking holiday, man. It should be a national holiday. It should be our one national holiday that we can all get around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everybody doesn't, celebrate everything. But the vote, that should be the day that we're all like, this should be a fucking party today.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
But anyways, I wanted to give a little shout out to REI because that's just fantastic. And
you should be able to drink a lot on election day. Like it should be a day where after everybody votes, we all go to the bars, and
there's just a lot of bars in LA, James, that do. I've gone. $1. $1 drinks. If you have your sticker, if you have your I voted sticker on,
right?
Thirsty Crow does. Shout out to them if you're out here. Bigfoot Lodge does.
Yeah. What a
fucking
patriot.
the one over by you. Before we go, can I just talk about some bad Black Friday things, some disasters?
There's plenty of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wouldn't be good work. It wouldn't end on a dour note.
This is, we all know what kind of show I want to make this. I want to make it a real dark, true crime show.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best. Let me find this little list here. So there's two sites I got this from. This is from Ola USA. It's apparently a newspaper. And online site. And then I also got this. There's an actual site called blackfridaydeathcount.com.
Oh my God.
Which has a tracker on it. It's just funny. A ticker that goes up. We're up to 17 deaths, 125 injuries. Jesus. So this is first of all, let's talk about getting to 5 specific ones. These are just 5. These aren't the best or the worst. These are just interesting. In 2011, Pepper Spray Sally. Several Black Friday shoppers in Los Angeles Walmart found themselves with red burning eyes and faces after a woman allegedly used pepper spray to get closer to a crate of discounted Xbox video game players. Just to get closer, she just kind of sprayed her way in there. Up to 20 people, including children, suffered nose and throat irritation. People started screaming, pulling, and pushing each other, and the whole area filled up with pepper spray. Alejandra Seminiaro told the Times that's what she said. The woman was able to pay for her items and get away before police arrived, but she turned herself in the next day. So that was that one. That was Pepper Spray Sally.
I fucking love Pepper Spray Sally. First of all-time great nickname.
The name. Why would they even let someone named Pepper Spray Sally into the Walmart?
You know what she's gonna do?
She probably took her name tag off. They didn't realize it was her.
This is the next one. in 2016, this is called Shirtless and Unafraid. Several people gathered outside of Adidas store in Vancouver when a member of the crowd got violent and shirtless. The store was set to release a rare shoe on Black Friday, but they kept the doors blocked with a metal grate. The doors never opened because the sale was called off. One man was caught on camera shirtless using his belt as a whip. He was running. This is quote unquote. This is quote. He was running around with his belt, swinging it at people, and then out of nowhere, some guy came up behind them and just started choking him.
Jesus, that's
Police
so
were called and
funny.
they arrested the shirtless man.
How bad do you want whatever the hell it is that's on sale?
I know. What is it
man.
that? Yeah.
Just it makes you turn into a fucking gladiator. Just with your belt, just whipping people around. That's insane.
I mean, that's a great movie idea, Matt. You should write that. I'll work if you want. We can.
Oh yeah,
that.
let's work on it. Yeah,
we can develop that.
Black Friday
I
gladiator.
hope the sale. I hope the sale like that took place in like the late 90s, and it was a giant sale for one of those like stinging fish that you hang on the wall or something.
Big mouth bass.
Big mouth bass.
Yeah, Billy Big. It was a Billy Big Mouth, right? Wasn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah. From just, I always sort of associate it with Sopranos.
Same.
With okay, this is gift cards galore. In 2006, an elderly woman was sent to the hospital and 9 others were injured after the Del Amo Fashion Center in Southern California dropped 500 balloons with gift cards in them. Some 2,000 shoppers rushed for them, and the mob began pushing and shoving after the balloons were dropped.
Oh my god!
What did you think was going to happen? Like,
Yeah,
it's so
of course.
absurd. How many people approved this and went, it's going to be great?
2,000 people rushed in.
It's like just dropping ground beef into the center of a pride of lions.
That's right. I mean, that's how you feed them.
Yeah.
I would argue that's not that. You know what? I don't think that's true, James. I bet you the lions are more organized and more respectful of one another.
Yeah.
Than the people.
Yeah, those lions haven't been waiting all year for this one big ground beef. And if you starve a lion for a year then drop the meat in there, that's what it is.
Gators. Let's go Gators. Maybe it's the Gators. Drop the beef in the Gators. There you go.
You're so anti-mammal. You're always pro reptile, Jake. It's.
And wouldn't that argument be the opposite, where I was saying that the mammals were better? Wouldn't that be pro-mammal?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Good. Toys R Death. Toys R Us. That's the hell of this next one. Toys R Us went from becoming a kid's dream to a place of nightmares in 2008 when 2 men pulled out guns and shot each other to death in the store. According to reports, it all started when the women they were with began arguing before getting physical near the checkout area, and one began punching the other. Then the men got involved, resulting in both of their deaths. At the time, Toys R Us issued the following statement: "We are working closely with local law enforcement officials to determine the specific details of what occurred." The statement said, "Our understanding is that this act seems to have been the result of a personal dispute between the individuals involved. Therefore, it would be inaccurate to associate the events of today with Black Friday." Oh, fuck you. Yeah. Toys R Us. Hope you go out of business. They already did. And then the last one, not for sale. A man was shot outside a Tennessee mall in 2018 as Black Friday came to an end, but it wasn't because he had his eyes on someone else's merchandise. The victim told police he saw an attractive woman inside the mall. Once he headed outside with his cousin, a fight ensued with the girl's boyfriend. He was knocked out, then shot at while he was pulled to his feet. Thankfully, he was just grazed by the bullet. So those are just 5 Black Friday tragedies.
It's absolute absurdity. Like, I can't imagine wanting anything that much.
I mean, this death count on this other one is crazy. It just lists how many died and how many injured, and it just has the date, and it has a brief description of them. But there's so many. So like,
I feel like in any other country, after one person died on Black Friday, they'd be like, "All right, we're not doing Black Friday anymore."
Yeah, exactly.
Absolute absurdity. Well, listen, it's Thanksgiving week. We hope you guys listening have a fantastic Thanksgiving, and we hope you don't go out on Black Friday unless it's to hike, because REI is closed, so you won't be able to buy your boots that you'll return.
Yep, that's right. And give thanks to the land you're on and the original people who lived there before it was taken.
Yeah. Enjoy your Thanksgiving duck.
Oh, are you a duck guy, James? More of a duck guy?
You didn't know James only eats duck.
Yeah, that's all. It's no vegetables, no nothing. Just a 100% duck diet.
Raw.
Yeah. I call duck vegetable. I mean, it's just duck with a side of duck.
Got it.
And duck for dessert.
Do you use any? Is there any sort of condiment you use?
Duck sauce.
There it is. Thank you. All right. And with that, check out goodworkpod.com for all things good work. If you're enjoying this program, well, that's your one-stop shop for all things good work. You can find official merchandise, links to our social media accounts, the Discord community, the link to the Discord. Lots of fun people in the Discord. It's a great place to hang out. Great place to get news, discuss the program, and just join in the conversation. You can find all that and more at goodworkpod.com.
That's right. You can also email us at goodworkpod@gmail.com or give us a call and leave us a message at the voicemail box at 929-256-5151.
And also, please subscribe, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And consider becoming a patron on Patreon. It's patreon.com/goodworkpod. If you want to toss us a couple bucks, $1,000, whatever, it's totally
just whatever,
cool,
anywhere between those two amounts.
We're having a huge discount on Black Friday for Patreon. Are we doing that?
No, not doing that at all. But yes, Patreon is
REI.
Yeah, exactly. Patreon is the best way to support this program on a month-to-month basis. But it's that time of the year. It's the first time that Good Work has been on around the holidays. So this is the first time our listeners are going to be hearing this. But this time of year, across the board, I like to ask all listeners of any Dragon Wagon Radio shows to consider showing your support. Dragon Wagon Radio is a completely independent podcast network. Good Work is the 20th program produced under the Dragon Wagon Radio banner. And Dragon Wagon Radio is indeed a one-man operation. It's just me here, my lonesome. So if you want to consider showing your support for the holidays this time of year, please consider going to dragonwagonradio.com/support. There you can watch a little video and learn about all the different ways that you can help keep this little independent podcast network above water, keep us afloat, and keep us putting out the best possible shows that we can put out continuously free to you, the listeners. So once again, this holiday season, please consider dragonwagonradio.com/support, goodworkpod.com, all the places. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
Merry holidays.
Feed the dragon.
Feed the dragon, who also big fan of duck. Big fan of duck.
Gold.
Good work, everybody.
Good work.
Dragon Wagon.